Hey gang, it's Platt here, and today we're starting a new section of the wine series. We're going to talk about the great wine growing regions of the world. But before we get started, I bet some of you noticed. That's right, new Platt Art Channel shirt. I have swag, if you always wanted some Platt Art Channel swag. Click the link down below in the description area, or you can go to Cafe Press and look for my Platt Art Channel shop there. So enough selling merch, let's get to French wine, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about France in general. France is one of the largest producers of wine in the world. Actually, it's neck and neck with Italy. Some years Italy's on top, some years France on top. But France is definitely number one in the world in producing high quality wines. They really take pride in making the highest quality wines. French winemaking dates back to the 6th century BC. It was introduced by the Greeks that kind of came through the area, but it really took a step up when the Romans invaded into France. They brought their winemaking history, their agricultural practices, and their variety of grapes, along with domesticating local wild grapes too. And since then, France has just taken off as far as wine production. France is also home to many of the great wine grapes that have spread around the world into California, Chile, Argentina. France gave us Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, just to name a few. Two big concepts that France gave the wine growing world are terroir and the AOC, or labeling system. Terroir, the best way to put it, is the totalitarian, or the total picture of the soil, the slope of the hill that it's grown on, the way that soil drains, the wind, how close is this to the sea and the sea air, the microclimate, just the totality forgive me, of the climate itself. And they believe it's that climate, that microclimate, that really does the winemaking and not the winemaker themselves. Next is the concept of the AOC, or what was called Appellation Originale Contrôlée. These laws were created. They were the first wine laws, and these laws were created in the 1930s. France had just come out of World War I, kind of getting the wine industry back up and running, replanted everything. And even before World War I, they were still just coming out of the phylloxera epidemic. So in the 1930s, they found that some wine producers are starting to skimp, get a little lazy, call some things this, that one that, or one grown there. So they wanted to set up a set of rules that controlled what was labeled on the bottle and how that wine was produced. Nowadays, it's changed to AOP to fit within European Union rules and regulations. AOP stands for Appellation Originale Protégée. And they break wine into three main categories. First is vin de table, or now vin de France, and that's table wine. Think of it, you go to your local mom and pop Italian restaurant, and there's just that jug of wine. There's not any great labeling. It's not a Chateau Petrus or anything like that. That's what that is, and that makes up roughly about 12% of French production. The next level up is something referred to as vin de Paz, or IGP, or Indication Geographic Protégé. And that makes up about a third of the production. And this is higher quality wine, something you might see that might list a region where it's from, or a varietal. Some of these wines can actually be real good, but they don't fit the category of the top quality wines, or the top listing, which is AOC. And actually, some winemakers have shifted their wines into this category to give them more freedom. The highest level wines, like I said, is AOC, or now known as AOP, Appellation Originale Protégée. And that makes up around 54-55% of wine produced in France. So a majority of the wine France produces is the highest quality. These AOC rules, like I said, govern what's grown, where it's grown, how it's labeled, what techniques can and can't be used. France, like I said, is real big about letting the local climate do its work. Here in the U.S., if you're in a place and you didn't get a lot of rain that year, you can always irrigate. If you had a short growing season, didn't get enough sugar on that out of that grape, you might add a little sugar. That's not allowed in France. Also within these, also part of the AOC system is the regional designations. Your Bordeaux, Chardonnay, or Champagne, Alsace. Regions like that are put on the label. And within those regions, they have sub-regions. A good way to think about it is if we took the state of Texas and said it was an AOC. Well, within Texas, you might have a Panhandle AOC or a Hill Country AOC. And even there, you have like village levels AOC. Like you might have the Lubbock Panhandle, Texas AOC or the Austin Hill Country, Texas AOC. And they kind of work on layers. And each one has their own set of rules and what have you. And again, like I said, it's real restrictive, whatever, but you have to know what's there. And because they limit the winemaker lot, it's really important to know the year. That's why you sometimes wonder, why do I care if this is a 2007, 2008? Because if in 2008 Loire had a drought or whatever, that's going to be a different wine. Then again, in California, they may have a drought, but we did a lot of irrigation and no one ever knew. A majority of French wine is actually consumed domestically, even though it's valued worldwide. Most of it is consumed domestically, even though that consumption, French wine consumption, has gone down constantly the last 40 years. And this has led to a glut of high quality French wine, which is kind of good for us in the U.S. because there are some quality French wines out there at very reasonable prices, but it's kind of been a disaster over there. So much so that the government's now paying some of these farmers to just distill their wines into either brandy or industrial alcohol. Well, enough talking about it. Let's look at a bottle of wine, discuss what we get from French wine. This is a Louis Jadot. It's a 2016. On the bottle, it tells us it's a Beaujolais-Villages. Beaujolais is the big AOC. Beaujolais is in East Central France. And Beaujolais-Villages is the micro or smaller AOC. Again, on the label, it does not tell us what the varietal is, but a little research, we have 100% Gamay. Now, we didn't go over Gamay in the varietal section because outside of France, it's not really used in varietals, and in France, it's used to produce Beaujolais. So thus, we've got our Gamay right here. Gamay, there's some tasting notes if you're interested in Gamay. Strawberry, black cherry, and spice is what you're going to find on this grape. So let's give our Beaujolais-Villages a try. Little fruit, little almost musty. I don't want to say too musty, but mustiness on the nose. Oh yeah, I get that black cherry. Nice wine, not much acidity. This is fruity. This is medium to lighter bodied. Very drinkable though. This is something I could sip on like spring afternoon. Something I don't necessarily need food with. You know, some of these more acidic wines you will kind of want to pair it with food. Bigger wines to cut through your food and whatever. This right here, nice standalone wine. So the next few weeks we will be looking through the different regions of France, kind of discussing again their labels, what's in that bottle, and what to look forward to. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.